Happy Spank Face Friday, where on this channel we like to tackle life's most difficult questions. Today's question being, is a DC Extended Universe, also known as a DCEU, salvageable, and is it even worth salvaging? Let's roll that intro and see what we can make of this bad boy as we crack it open and bleed it dry. Did you like that? I think you might have liked that. I liked it a lot. Anyways, the DCEU. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be breaking down what went wrong with these movies, not even from a production standpoint. I don't care about the production. That's not even a factor in what makes a movie good or not. It doesn't speak to the box office or anything like that. We're just going to be talking about the films themselves and if so far DC is even on a foot where they need to be continuing this franchise. So let's start with the film that broke the camel's back right off the bat, Man of Steel. Now, don't get me wrong. I like things about Man of Steel. I don't hate it. I don't really like it. I'll watch it again. It is a fun time to watch. Most of the DC movies are, but the thing that Man of Steel got wrong about Superman right off the bat is, first of all, you should never start a saga of Superman films with him killing his main villain. You can write it so that doesn't happen. He had to snap Zod's neck. It was the only way to stop him from killing the family. Don't write in a family. And then bam, that situation is averted. You don't have to worry about something like that if you just avoid that scenario specifically. Another huge problem is there's no color in this movie. That's a Zack Snyderism, but they should have made him not do that for a Superman movie. It doesn't work. That works for Watchmen, Sucker Punch, and 300, but not for Superman. Another huge problem that I have with that movie, remember the part in the flashback, because this movie is 75% flashbacks, when Clark asks his father if he should have let everybody in the bus die, and his father says yes? No, sorry, that doesn't work for me. And overall, the collateral damage thing, that's not as fun to watch it for a group of adults as DC seems to think it is. So really, they've got some explaining to do as far as why they ever thought that was a good idea. And because this movie was received so poorly, it started the DCEU off on a terrible foot. But moving on to its direct sequel, Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. Alright, so this movie gets a couple things wrong, but I'm just going to be focusing on the boy, Batboy. Alright, first thing that a lot of people didn't like is he was just straight murdering criminals, just gunning them down in the Batmobile. That's a problem because Batman's whole thing is he doesn't kill. It's like, oh, well, Jason Todd died and that's why he kills criminals. Okay, but Thomas and Martha Wayne died. But he doesn't kill criminals. That's the thing that sets him above the people he puts in prison, is that he'll never stoop to that level. Nathan Drake ring, by the way, thanks for asking. Batman should never be killing criminals, no matter what the situation is. Another thing is that it's got a very weak story that falls apart the minute you start asking even the simplest questions about it. Like, why does the name Martha mean that Batman just spares Superman's life? You know, they go about answering the whole collateral damage thing from the last film, but it just doesn't work. Why is Lois such a significant character? She shouldn't be. She shouldn't be billed right after Henry Cavill in this movie. Why is Lex Luthor on cocaine? Because that's Jesse Eisenberg. That's why he's on cocaine. And biggest problem of all, where's the color? You know, this movie gets a lot wrong systemically. You know, there's things that I do like about it. It is a good time, but it's not a very strong story. The characters are very unfaithful to the comics. I don't care if you're gonna throw the whole Dark Knight Returns thing at me. Dark Knight Returns isn't a very good story in my opinion. So that's really all I have to say about that. Moving on to the next movie.
All my friends are heathens, take it slow.
Suicide Squad is a jumbled mess that doesn't know what it wants to be, and I can't watch that movie start to finish without feeling like I'm gonna have to go commit. It's a bad movie and I've never even seen it all the way to the end, so I can't really talk about it. Just gonna move on. Wonder Woman, what a fun romp. I'm not going to break down the plot of this movie. I'm just going to say I liked it up until the ending because it has a chance to go for this really adult, really mature ending that makes you think, hey, maybe men are the reason men go to war and not because there's a god of war orchestrating things. But no, she kills the god of war. Things go back to normal. The war ends. But then somehow World War II, Vietnam, Korea, Desert Storm, the Gulf War, and all these other things still happened long after the god of war was killed. So I'm not quite sure why that happened if you, at the exact same time, try to tell me that the god of war is the reason that war happens. And, you know, CGI disgusting fights where people use powers that don't quite make any sense, like Wonder Woman just lifting into the air and firing lightning like she is Zeus, which, of course, she's not going to ever do again. Why would she? What does continuity matter in these movies? It doesn't.
Come together.
Oh, Justice League, what a horror show. I have a lot to say about Justice League, and I'm going to be doing a video about it. Actually, about things in particular from the movie, but I do want to say, put that on the screen. That's a huge problem with Justice League. Look at that mug. Oh boy. But it's fun, I guess. It's just a very stale one-note villain. It's another sky turning a different color thing, and an army of drones fighting the League. And then when Superman shows up, everybody becomes worthless and made of napkins anyway. So it's very what's the point, you know? It's a very what's the point of watching this movie. They tried to course correct so hard to bring in Joss Whedon that now it seems so stand out from the rest of the franchise that it doesn't belong. There's colors now. There's really dumb slapstick humor every 5 seconds now. The running joke in the movie is that everybody is attracted to Wonder Woman, so there's a whole lot of that going on in the movie. It's a huge mess. It's a disgusting dumpster fire. I would advise you all to avert your eyes so that you don't have to witness a murder most foul. But I don't know. I mean, there's not much to say about Justice League that hasn't already been said, so I'm just going to move on to my conclusion. Now, I understand that Aquaman is pretty much finished and is going to come out later this year, and I know the Wonder Woman 84 is heavy into production, but I don't think these movies have even the least bit what it takes to fix the DCEU. Now, what does it take to fix the DCEU? I can already hear you thinking in your heads, and the moment's already passed. Kill it, scrap it, start it, don't even start it over. Don't even make a DC universe. Do not try to compete with Marvel like this. Just make DC films like you were doing before. Just make them good this time, you know? There's not a whole lot of DC movies out there that are actually good. I like Batman Begins, but that's like it out of that entire trilogy. You know? I think you just need to pull the plug. The actors don't want to be involved anymore. They can't get directors held down worth anything. They have to keep scrapping things and starting over because they keep going over budget. They make casting announcements after the movie's already finished filming, so they have to go back and remake it in a day based on the success of the movie that came out right before it. They have no goal in mind. The thing that sets the MCU above the DCEU so much is that Infinity War Part 1 and 2, that was where Kevin Feige was aiming. He wasn't aiming at the Avengers, all right? But the DCEU has no idea where they're aiming. They jumped the gun so hard to get to Justice League, and yeah, it took the same amount of time between Man of Steel and Justice League that it took between Iron Man and Avengers. But Avengers was the 6th movie. Justice League was the 5th. And it was an absolute mess. I don't know. But that's all I really want to say about this. If you want to support my family, keep them fed, you can go ahead and leave a like, subscribe if you're new here, leave a comment down below telling me how good DC is and how stupid I am. Apart from that, though, I'll see you tomorrow.